just got some questions here for you today about the BoringPhone.
Okay, shoot.
Coming in from our users and listeners out there. What is it? Is it an app?
No, it's not an app. It's an actual phone that we've installed an operating system onto.
Okay, so it's actually a phone.
Yep, it's a real physical phone. It's quite nice. And people who back our project will actually get a phone, unless they do the $5 option, in which case they'll just have satisfaction.
Satisfaction's good though, right?
Yeah.
So are you getting these phones made?
No, we're starting with an existing phone and installing the software onto it. So the phone is already a good quality phone, and we've created the software that goes onto it. Why would anyone pay for a phone with less features?
Well, the feature of this phone is that it respects your time. So many people are realizing that their phones are addictive marketplaces and are spending more and more time doing less and less and less. So the feature of our phone is that it frees you up. It gives you back your time. That's pretty massive. So how did you decide which ones to put on there?
So we looked at which applications people actually use for utility, that actually have a purpose, and we avoided apps that have an infinite scroll that are designed primarily just to entertain you.
Yep.
We also took feedback from people that we talked to narrow it down to really just the essentials.
Some people would say, what, like an old Nokia?
Well, the difference is that this has a camera, it has music. So an old Nokia is one way to go. The other difference is this doesn't look like an old Nokia. So
yeah, that's true. It doesn't look like an old Nokia.
Some people have commented that they used a Nokia phone and their friends asked them when they started dealing drugs. So that's another reason not to use them.
Does it have Snake?
No, it does not have Snake.
No Snake. Okay.
I think Snake is licensed to the Nokia Corporation, and so they wouldn't let us have it.
Damn.
What makes normal phones so addictive, and why is this better?
Years and years and years of market research makes normal phones addictive. It's not an accident, but it's little things like color, it's little things like sounds. Some of the biggest things are the Pavlovian responses we have. As soon as we hear the bing, we reach for our phone. You know, when you look at an app, the colors, the way it rewards you for interacting with it, they're very, very subtle, but they're all woven together to create an experience that you and I know, because we've been there, traps you.
It does.
Our phone doesn't trap you.
No.
It's black and white,
it's boring.
Grey, it's boring.
It's boring.
Right?
How is the BoringPhone not addictive?
It doesn't contain addictive apps. It uses very, very little color. So the main UI elements are all grayscale. The camera is obviously in color. Some of the apps have color in them, but it's not the main feature of the phone. So why don't people just, disable the applications they're addicted to?
And that's a common question, and anybody who's tried to do that will know what the answer is.
Yeah.
And that is that I've tried this myself. I've said, right, that's it, end of Facebook, end of Chrome browser. I've taken them off my phone. I've got to work, and I thought, I need to check how much rental cars in Spain are. So I'll get it out. I'll put the Chrome back on. I will check how much rental cars in Spain are. A lot cheaper than New Zealand. But then I will be like, I might just see what's happening on Reddit. And then before I know it,
dear. Yep.
you're exactly back to it.
Down the infinity hole.
The analogy that we use is if you're trying to give up smoking, you don't carry around a packet of cigarettes just to test your willpower.
Yep.
You actually just get rid of the cigarettes. You make the conscious decision once, and then you don't have to make the unconscious mind try and behave.
Fair enough.
So did you make the whole operating system from scratch?
No. The BoringPhone's operating system is based on Android open source, and we've taken the tweaks and modifications that we need to bring you a really smooth experience.
Is the phone Android, and so can it be updated?
It's based on the Android open source project, so in that sense it is Android, and we will periodically release updates to keep your phone secure. So do you just want people to delete their Facebook? Is that the idea?
No, it's to give people another option, and the idea is really that when you're out and about, you might have the BoringPhone and you're not being distracted, and when you go home, you can get out a tablet, you can say, well, I want to see what people are doing on Facebook. You can spend half an hour, 20 minutes doing that, and then you can stop.
Yep.
Have you proof that the BoringPhone is better than a regular phone?
That's a tough one. What do you mean by better? We've defined what a better is.
Yeah.
And better for us is that it's a phone that allows you to communicate in the ways you'd expect to, but doesn't tie you down. That frees you up and gives you more time. So we can prove it by using it. You only have to use it to know that you can't use Facebook. That if you go to look for entertainment on your phone, you're not going to find it. So you're going to have to do something else. I've experienced that personally.
Yep.
Doesn't really count as proof, but you know.
Of course you would say that because you're trying to sell it. So that's what people who are trying to sell things say. But I guess the challenge.
But I mean, it's a fairly simple logical thing. There's no sleight of hand here. It doesn't have Facebook. You can't do that. What my children have tried is they've tried to entertain themselves by taking photos and editing photos, but they tire of that pretty quickly. What I see with my kids is when they have a phone with Facebook or the internet on it, then they're just Facebooking or YouTubing, and they'll sit there for hours doing this. You're not going to see a kid sitting there for hours doing that. They just can't. I mean, look, if they could endlessly entertain themselves turning it on and off, but other than that, that's not happening, right? Some people say, oh, but I can get a phone like that from the supermarket for $20.
You can get a phone from the supermarket for $20, and it will be one of either two things. It will either be essentially an old dumb phone that doesn't have a camera, or alternately it will be a smartphone, but it will be locked to a plan, and it will have Facebook, and it'll just be really clunky to use, so you'll still be using it, but you'll just be more frustrated and more tense. How much are you guys going to make out of all of this?
We're going to make millions. You know it, we're going to make millions. But honestly, that's not why we did this. We did this because I noticed that I was using my phone in ways I didn't want to be. And I've been looking around at the world and thinking this is a technology that's just happened too quickly, and we haven't got the maturity. And I'm pretty proud and pretty excited to be able to bring something to market that makes a difference. I can say, hey, I think this is something we need to think about, and here it is.